Please be seated. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to invite Mr. Chris Tobin, representative of the Darug people, to offer the traditional welcome to country.
Thank you. Budri Molinul, good morning. Nalawa, welcome. Welcome to the lands of the Wallamedigal. I belong to one of the local Aboriginal families of the Darug people, the traditional custodians over this part of the country. I wish to thank the University for their acknowledgement of us and for the invitation to welcome you all here today. That acknowledgement is important for our people and much appreciated, particularly by our elders. Education is highly valued in Aboriginal culture as well. Traditionally, knowledge meant survival, and our elders were recognised for their accumulated wisdom and experience. My family descend from Yarramundi, a respected elder and cleverman of the Burrabrongal clan during the early years of colonisation. He saw that our survival in this new world could best be secured if we could learn more about it. As such, he enrolled his daughter, Maria, into the Native Institution, a school set up in 1815 by Governor Macquarie himself, offering formal education to Aboriginal children. She studied there for several years and used her newfound skills to lobby and ultimately secure some land for herself and her family out along the Richmond Road. Other Aboriginal families soon joined them there, and it became known as the Blackstown, where the present-day city of Blacktown gets its name from. We are very proud of her, as I'm sure your families are of you here this morning. And with good reason. Your progress progresses all of us. Your advancement is our advancement. Now, this is perhaps more readily understood in traditional times when camps were smaller and clans groups abided by strict sharing laws, which meant that any food that you brought back got distributed throughout the rest of the camp. Your efforts and good fortunes literally nourished the rest of the community, and you in turn were looked after by them. Yes, we can live quite beautifully when we get clever about it. Our Aboriginal ancestors certainly did in many respects, and I use occasions like this to offer them to yourselves as a benchmark or a model on how good to expect our lives. You see, when Captain Cook arrived here a little over 200 years ago, he described the people he encountered at Botany Bay as one of the happiest people he'd ever met in the world. They had nothing, he wrote, but the tools that they carried. They made shelters out of the bark of trees without cutting them down, harvested food from the land without tilling the earth. In traditional times, everyone was accorded rights to the country or clan area where he or she was born into. So there was no homelessness and no rich and poor either. Everyone had pretty much the same amount of gear, what you could carry. We have no history of slavery or empire building. There were no armies or jails or even police. People cooperated to collect the resources that were needed, and then they were shared according to strict Aboriginal law. Our lands were maintained in the natural state. Rivers were clean and unpolluted, with people drinking out of them as they have done here for the past 20,000 years. Now remember, this is not an ideal. This is normal life. And there's no reason why we should expect less for ourselves and our families and our children than what our ancestors enjoyed. Admittedly, there's a lot more of us now. So we've got a big job to do. But I would say, expect great things from your life and do great things. And together, we might get this country back to the healthy, happy place where everyone gets looked after. That's our history, that's our tradition. You know, we can all do our bit. I'll do mine by winding up now and letting you people graduate. All right, so congratulations to all of us and all the best in our collective futures. Thank you. Welcome to the country.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased to introduce the Chancellor of Macquarie University, the Honourable Michael Egan. Mr. Egan.
Thank you, Chris Tobin, for your welcome to country. Well, graduands, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and as usual, I see we also have some babes in arms here with us this morning and some tiny tots. They're all very welcome. But one thing is certain in a long graduation ceremony, and this morning's looks as though it will be reasonably long because we have a lot of graduands to graduate today. the babies or the little children will make a noise or start to cry, we have a simple rule here. If a baby starts to make a noise, you stay exactly where you are. You don't have to go outside. We don't want you to go outside. None of us will be bothered by a child crying. I was a member of Parliament for 25 years, so I've heard a lot worse. And in any event, we've learnt from experience that if a baby cries through a graduation ceremony, they're back within 25 years to take out a PhD. So I'm sure some of our freshly minted PhDs here this morning 25 years ago would have cried through a graduation ceremony. So welcome everyone. It's my great privilege as Chancellor of Macquarie University to preside at this very important ceremony today. First, I welcome all of our graduands, and I hope this will be a very happy and memorable occasion for all of you. But if it is to be a memorable and happy occasion, you all have to relax. Some of you look quite nervous. Now, there's no need, there's nothing to worry about. You've all passed your exams, or at least I assume you have. The only thing that can go wrong today is that when you come up here, you trip and fall over. That has happened, but we have every eventuality covered. Today, our occasional speaker, the Deputy Police Commissioner of New South Wales, Catherine Byrne, is here to pick you up if you fall over. And the police, of course, all in New South Wales always insist on backup. So Catherine will be ably assisted today by a former police minister, the Honourable Professor Peter Anderson. So your safety is assured, you have nothing to worry about. You really do deserve to take pride in your graduation today, because completing a degree is never easy. You need an intelligent and inquiring mind, you need determination and perseverance, and you need to make many sacrifices. So welcome and congratulations to each and every one of you. Today I also want to welcome, and especially welcome, those of you who are sitting behind our graduands as their invited guests. Because if you think about it for a moment or two, you've all obviously done very well too. The very fact that you're here, the fact that you've been invited by one of our graduands to share one of the great days of their lives is proof positive that you've been very important in their lives and in the successes that we celebrate today. So mothers and fathers, brothers and sisters, cousins, sons and daughters, grandmothers and grandfathers, friends, husbands and wives, partners, boyfriends, girlfriends, lovers, or whatever you are, congratulations and thank you for celebrating this great occasion with us. And I don't want you to think either that observing today's graduation is the end of your role, because I have another important service for you to perform for our newest graduates, as they will soon become. I want you to make sure that the degrees they receive today are never ever put in a bottom drawer, but are always proudly displayed in a position of prominence. In other words, if our graduands are too self-effacing to proclaim their own success, you make sure that you do it for them. Now, the ceremony that we're about to participate in is one of the world's oldest social rituals. For centuries, graduates have been donning robes just like the ones our graduands are wearing today, and participating in ceremonies just like this one. Indeed, there are some 50 universities in the world which can trace their history back more than 500 years. Macquarie, by comparison, is relatively young, only 49 years of age. But in those 49 years, we've come a long way. We now have more than 145,000 Macquarie graduates living in more than 140 countries, believe it or not. Macquarie is a very modern and outward-looking university. We're regarded as one of Australia's leading research universities and are currently extending our research as we are our course offerings and facilities. We're always trying to engage with the world around us. We've forged strong alliances with the community and with industry and are keen to establish more. On your way here today, you may have seen our new or relatively new Macquarie University Hospital, not yet 3 years old, which is used by the students and academics in our School of Advanced Medicine. We're the only university in Australia with its own private hospital, although there are many universities in the United States that own and operate their own hospital. You may also have seen our new library, which was opened not long ago and I think is probably the envy of every university in the land. And our new Advanced Hearing Hub, which was opened just earlier this year, which is a world-leading institute dedicated to advances in hearing, speech and language science. So we're looking forward and we're certainly on the move. We want Macquarie always to be a leader in teaching and learning and a leader in the accumulation of knowledge and understanding. In other words, an ideal community of scholars. And graduands, in just a few minutes, it will be my very great honour to confer your degrees upon you and welcome you as lifelong members of that community of scholars we proudly call Macquarie University. Thank you.
Chancellor, I call on Ms Gemma Brooks, who's graduating today with a Bachelor of Arts with a degree of Bachelor of Laws, to speak on behalf of the graduating group. Ms Brooks.
Chancellor, Vice-Chancellor, members of the University, fellow graduates and guests, I'm humbled to stand before you here today, and a little nervous. I was shocked when I was first asked to give this speech many weeks ago. I pledged to give it the same devotion and planning that I've given to every essay throughout my academic studies. So at 2 a.m. this morning, after much procrastination and a Star Wars marathon, I realised it was probably time I started writing. I mused over my time at Macquarie. Some of you may realise, due to my years of shameless self-promotion, ticking up posters of my face to every pillar in this university and every blank space I could get my hands on, that I've been lucky enough to serve as a student representative for the last 4 years. Of course, some of you may not realise this, as only 5% of the student population voted in those elections. But a vote is a vote, and I cannot thank that 5% enough for the experiences and privileges that they've given me throughout my time in office. While all of our university experiences have been varied, I believe that the lessons that we will take away from Macquarie will be those that we've learnt from beyond the classroom. Personally, my time as a student representative has taught me 2 things. Firstly, that students will do just about anything for a free barbecue. Secondly, you must stand up for what you believe in, no matter what. And that lesson's been difficult to learn. So hard at times that my father's quipped that I have Joan of Arc syndrome, which is probably true. But I truly believe that the most difficult lessons in life are the ones that you will take with you, and they're the ones that make you a richer person and a richer graduate, even if you are metaphorically burnt at the stake. Every one of us has faced our own individual challenges to be here today, and every one of us has succeeded. We've made it through countless hours of tutorial presentations, readings, and exams. For my fellow law graduates, we can hold our heads high that we made it through 12-hour take-homes, international law lectures, and bizorgs with Frank Carrigan. We have learnt to do risk assessments and know that 4 hours additional sleep is not worth the 10% reduction in your exam mark. To manage finances, even if it is just coins for an extra coffee. And to be disciplined to our approach to the task at hand, because no matter how long you sit on Facebook, that essay, or in this case that speech, isn't going to write itself. Perhaps the hardest part of sitting here as a graduate is knowing that some of that wisdom could have been imparted by our loved ones had we only agreed to listen to them. So to all the family and friends here today, I want to say thank you, and we're so sorry. To my own parents, thank you for all the support and freedom that you've given me, to make mistakes and to learn from them, to take risks and to stumble, and for putting up with me when I eat absolutely everything in the house during exam time and take up precious space in the fridge with energy drinks. I know how you love that, Mum. To our academics, thank you for passing on your enthusiasm and knowledge for learning to us and for watching us as we're now released into the world, an unsuspecting world at that. So fellow graduates, as they release us, we ask ourselves what comes next. Mary Queen of Scots famously once said that in her end was her beginning. While I don't mean to say that graduating is like having one's head on the proverbial chopping block, I do think that that message stands true. Our beginning is before us, and our futures start now. Macquarie graduates possess a unique range of skills and depth of knowledge to accomplish great things. If we pledge from today to work hard, then we will attain excellence. But no matter where our paths lead us, we will have a home here. Today we will walk out of this hall as Macquarie alumni, as part of a community that share a unique and wonderful experience, and the knowledge that opportunities to learn, make friends, and face challenges will always be here for us at Macquarie. So finally, I wish to leave you with words of wisdom far beyond that of my tender years, and in doing so prove that procrastination does pay off sometimes. Instead, I defer to someone who reached 900 years of age. As Yoda once said to Luke Skywalker, "Do or do not, there is no try." So go forth and do, Macquarie graduates, and may the Force be with you.
Well, thank you, Gemma. Congratulations on your arts degree, and congratulations on your law degree, and congratulations on an excellent speech. I can see you making an excellent advocate in our courts one day. So I wish you all the very best, and I hope you have a long association with Macquarie University. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we now come to the key part of today's ceremony, the reason we're all here, and that's the conferring of degrees. Now, this is the only part of the ceremony that makes me a little bit nervous, because I've been told that if I confer a degree on someone who's not entitled to receive it, there's not much I can do to take it back. So I need an absolutely ironclad assurance from the registrar that each and every one of you is eligible today to graduate. I need an assurance that none of you have ever missed a class, have never been late in submitting an assignment, and when I get that assurance, I'll be able to admit you to your degrees. Registrar.
Chancellor, I certify that all the candidates being presented here today and those who are absent have satisfied the requirements of Academic Senate for the degrees and diplomas that they are to be awarded. Would all candidates for admission to degrees and diplomas please stand?
Graduands, in the name of the Council of Macquarie University and by my authority as Chancellor, I admit each of you present and those who are absent to the degrees or diplomas for which you have qualified. Graduates, congratulations.
Please be seated. Chancellor, the graduates at this ceremony are from the Faculty of Arts. Students and staff in this faculty work together within and across discipline boundaries to ask questions about socially complex problems, identify paths of research, analyse and communicate ideas in creative formats, and reflect on skills and knowledge they'll need to understand the world, past and present. Students are encouraged to use their skills and talents to connect with local and global communities. This faculty includes research and study areas in ancient history, anthropology, English, Indigenous studies, international studies, law, media, music, communication, cultural studies, modern history, politics, international relations, philosophy, sociology, and of course policing, intelligence and counter-terrorism. Chancellor, I now call on Professor John Simons, the Executive Dean of the Faculty of Arts, to present the graduates and diplomats. Professor Simons.
Chancellor, I present to you the graduates and diplomates from the Faculty of Arts whom you have admitted to degrees or awarded diplomas. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Dr. Christine Angela Aquino for a thesis entitled Everyday Racism and Resistance, The Lives of Filipino Migrants in Australia. Dr. Paul Francis Cooper for a thesis entitled John and Anne Goodlett, A Study in Colonial Christian Philanthropy. Dr. Mark Kenneth Hebblewhite for a thesis entitled Loyalty, the Emperor and the Roman Army, AD 235 to 395. Dr. Mustafa Mahmoud Nasser for a thesis entitled Protecting Climate Change-Induced Displacement in Bangladesh, Legal and Policy Responses. Dr. Robert Bernard Pereira for a thesis entitled The Politics of Participation, a Critical Occupational Science Analysis of Social Inclusion Policy and Entrenched Disadvantage. Dr. Thomas Durley Cantle Roberts for a thesis entitled Before Rupert, Keith Murdoch, Media Power and the Genesis of a Dynasty. Dr. Sri Sudish Esbasi for a thesis entitled Migration, Faith and Social Capital, an Ethnography of Sydney's Hindu Diaspora. Dr. Bradley Russell Windon for a thesis entitled A Landscape for Belonging, the Narrative Representation of the Other as Illegitimate Thinker in Tertullian. Dr. Rachel Susan Ewan Collingridge for a thesis entitled Historical Lexicology and the Origins of Philosophy, Herodotus' Use of Philosophein, Sophistes and Cognates. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Master of International Communication with the Master of International Relations, Lorianne Sandra Nelly Amiome. Cassandra Ma Kamara. Noor Salman. Pritashini Viragu Naidu. I present the graduate admitted to the degree of Master of International Relations with the Master of International Trade and Commerce Law, Jeffrey Mangui Mugi. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Master of Policing, Intelligence and Counterterrorism with the Master of International Security Studies, Christopher R. Budd. Lars Hansen. Edward Tamba Leby. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Master of Arts, Megan Florence Coburn. Lynn Marie Kidson, who has been awarded the Vice-Chancellor's Commendation for Academic Excellence. Sally Ann McCall. Leslie McCusker, who has been awarded the Vice-Chancellor's Commendation for Academic Excellence. Emma Louise Nyer. I present the graduate admitted to the degree of Master of Computer Forensics, John Flynn Baird. I present the graduate admitted to the degree of Master of Environmental Law, Deborah Lenson. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Master of International Relations, Karina Arakel. Alia Samuel Ateni. Jennifer Kane. Jessica Marie Davis. Francisco Javier Donthel Prada. Lisa Marie Gittos, who has been awarded the Vice-Chancellor's Commendation for Academic Excellence. Philip Angus Graham, who has been awarded the Vice-Chancellor's Commendation for Academic Excellence. Adam Hamad. Elena Hilbert. Carolina Paz Morrison, who has been awarded the Vice-Chancellor's Commendation for Academic Excellence. Nicole Gina Naser, who has been awarded the Vice-Chancellor's Commendation for Academic Excellence. Renata Larabati Ogayor. Belinda Ann Robson. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Master of International Security Studies, Nicholas Wesley Moore, who has been awarded the Vice-Chancellor's Commendation for Academic Excellence. Xiao Hong Emily Sam. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Master of International Trade and Commerce Law, Men Yang Lu. Tanima Rahman. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Master of Policing, Intelligence and Counter-Terrorism, Mohammed Moussa Mourad Abdullah Al-Burkat. Alissa Birtles. Jonathan Cottam. Alicia Cullen. Jennifer Harvey. Saifullah Hashimi. Marlene Johanna Honig. Roman Hula. Caitlin Lancaster. Bradford Morton. Robert Rocheri. Scott James Sampson. Adam Joseph Taylor. Yvonne Wamalwa. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Master of Policy and Applied Social Research, Marianne Lee Doherty. Adeline Forrester. Thushara Lalindra Pabash Senarathna Halnithilage. Gemma Gelbat Lockett. Darrell Robert William O'Donnell, who has been awarded the Vice-Chancellor's Commendation for Academic Excellence. Brianna Jane Perrins, who has been awarded the Vice-Chancellor's Commendation for Academic Excellence. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Master of Politics and Public Policy, Itziar Amuchestegui Gomez de Leon. Ina Kaur Pawar. Sarah Louise Shepley. I present the diplomate awarded the postgraduate diploma in Policing, Intelligence and Counterterrorism, Katrina Ann Simone Harrison. I present the diplomate awarded the postgraduate diploma in Policy and Applied Social Research, Sarah Gurr. I present the diplomate awarded the postgraduate diploma of International Relations, Natalia Rafati Godoy. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Applied Finance with a Bachelor of Laws with Honours, Stephen Richard McMahon. Katayoun Mollah Abbasi. Erin Kate Pittard. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Arts with a Bachelor of Laws with First Class Honours, Lauren Rebecca Hirsch. Elizabeth Makin. Hannah Kate Wiseman. I present the graduate admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Arts with the Bachelor of Laws with Honours, Stephanie Tho Thi Han. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Arts Psychology with the Bachelor of Laws with Honours, Annika Maywes. Samantha Jane Parker. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Business Administration with the Bachelor of Laws with First Class Honours, James Philip Coleman. David James Granger. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Commerce with the Bachelor of Laws with Honours, Patrick Lawrence Fazone. Kelsey Jane Hunter. I present the graduate admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Commerce Professional Accounting with the Bachelor of Laws with First Class Honours, Matthew Brian Skelly. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of International Studies with the Bachelor of Laws with Honours, Gillian Margaret Curran. Ashley Morris Kerr. Hannah Maria Wade. I present the graduate admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Social Science with the Bachelor of Laws with Honours, Aaron Smith. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Law with Honours, Daniel Ezekiel. Christopher Stephen James. Zoe Jean Jenkins. Hamish Michael Kerr. Stephen James Millington. Danielle Kate Storsky. Danielle Marie Verdi. Kurt Bradley Wickland. Guy Williams. I present the graduate admitted to the honours degree of Bachelor of Arts, Melissa Ann Harvey. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Applied Finance with the Bachelor of Laws, Raymond Alexander Bombardiere. Michael Yu Yung Chu. Kabir Gill. Joseph Kim. Andy Zhao Kang Sun. Tejas Theet. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Arts with the Bachelor of Laws, Gemma Josephine Brooks. Bronya Elizabeth Fraser Hills. Jack He. Andrew Lorigan. Emma Munger. Natalie Erin Sender. Caitlin Lara Taylor. Catherine Elizabeth Vincent. I present the graduate admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Arts Media with the Bachelor of Laws, Sophie Elizabeth Goodwin. I present the graduate admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Arts Psychology with the Bachelor of Laws, Roshni Erin James. I present the graduate admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Business Administration with the Bachelor of Laws, Ashwini Brindha Hensman. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Commerce with the Bachelor of Laws, Safwan Ahmed Chowdhury. Ji Byom Jang. Anne Susan Lai. Landis Michaels. Andrew James Morris. George Poulakis. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Commerce Accounting with the Bachelor of Laws, Mark Joseph Abraham. Sarah Carmen Cook. Cameron Lee. Mahan Barry Manukarathas. Amy Catherine Jing. I present the graduate admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Commerce Marketing with the Bachelor of Laws, Michelle Laura Ailing. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of International Studies with the Bachelor of Laws, Bianca Joby Holiday O'Brien. Sally Catherine Worsthorne. I present the graduate admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Science with the Bachelor of Laws, Minja Kamali Himakarama. I present the graduate admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Ancient History, Holly Ann Westcott. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Thomas Chapman Parker Anderson. Stephanie Bailey. Nicola Jane Black. Sarah Louise Dagg. Holly Jade Edwards. Carla Frank. Nina Harriet Gascoigne-White. Gina Louise Graham. Ross Hurt. Tunch Kaplan. Andrew MacLeod. Natasha Nafisa MacDonald. Natalie Mikulich. Elicheva Rochelle Nagel. Anna Marjorie North, who has been awarded the Vice-Chancellor's Commendation for Academic Excellence. Alexandra Pengley. Catherine Lisa Pinar. David Pitt. Danielle Sass. Joshua Charles Seeley. Helen Louise Sellers. Jennifer Eileen Sonken. Elizabeth Catherine Teague. Reese Stratford Portus Walker. Cameron James Wood. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Laws, Cara Rose Brands. Hayley Rose Cooper. Dominic Eberl. Tanya Louise Hayward. Samuel J. Hutchinson. Paul Jang. Aimee Louise Le Bon. Davida C. Wei Liang. Ursio Suarez Martins. David Murray. Patricia Margaret Nevea. Gildine Dale Naval. Jennifer Perrin. Rimika Shankar. Jamie May Stefanak. Yes. Tamara Gale Turnbull. Jill Ashley Wong. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Social Science, Farah Incharoon. Yeshim Sepek. Chancellor, that completes this morning's presentation of graduates and diplomates from the Faculty of Arts.
Well now, did you like that? That glorious voice, ladies and gentlemen, belongs to Angela Brewer. Would you like to hear Angela sing just a little bit more? It's very simple. You just have to enrol in another degree, and when you come back, she'll be singing at your next graduation. I think she deserves another great round of applause. Angela sings at nearly all of our graduations, but I noticed something today for the first time. And when I think back, I don't think I've ever heard a baby cry when Angela is singing. That's the first time I've noticed it, but it's true. Can I also ask you to join with me in thanking our musicians, our organist, Dr. James Forsyth, and on the Chinese flute, Mr. Chai Chang Ning. And could I also thank all of our alumni volunteers, some of whom are sitting over there, and I think there were a couple over there, who come along to our graduations to make sure that everything runs smoothly on your graduation day, and I think they deserve a great round of applause too. Well, it's our pleasure at today's ceremony to honour, in accordance with the resolution of the University Council, Catherine Byrne, the Deputy Commissioner of the New South Wales Police, for admission to the degree of Doctor of Letters honoris causa of Macquarie University. I now invite Professor Bruce Doughton, Vice-Chancellor of Macquarie University, to read the citation. Professor Doughton.
I invite Deputy Commissioner Catherine Byrne to stand for the citation, please. Chancellor, it is with distinct pleasure that I present to you Deputy Commissioner Catherine Byrne, who has served the people of New South Wales faithfully and with distinction for almost 3 decades. Deputy Commissioner of the Police Force, Catherine Byrne is not only the highest-ranking policewoman in New South Wales, but also the most senior woman in any police force in Australia. Deputy Commissioner Byrne is currently responsible for specialist operations in the New South Wales Police Force, which includes forensics and prosecutors, and also police in our skies, on our waterways, and on our public transport and highways. Throughout her 29-year career in the New South Wales Police Force, Catherine Byrne has managed a range of portfolios, including corporate services with an annual budget of $2.7 billion and a workforce of 20,000 officers and staff. During her long career, Deputy Commissioner Byrne has also worked in general policing duties as a detective, in emergency operations, and as a local commander of challenged communities in areas such as Burwood, City Central, and Redfern. Ms. Byrne has won numerous awards during her career, including the 2011 Telstra Australian Businesswoman of the Year Award, the Australian Police Medal, and the International Women's Day New South Wales Woman of the Year Award. However, it is her commitment to working with vulnerable communities to make real change that is her lasting legacy. This social commitment extends from her police work to participation in a mentoring program in our own Faculty of Business and Economics here at Macquarie University. Chancellor, it is with extraordinary pleasure that I present to you Deputy Commissioner Catherine Byrne for the award of the degree Doctor of Letters honoris causa.
graduates and ladies and gentlemen, I now invite Dr. Byrne to give the occasional address.
Well, Chancellor, Vice-Chancellor, members of the university, distinguished guests and family, and of course graduates, can I just say you're all off to a good start. Mr. Anderson and I didn't have to pick up any of you if you stumbled, so firstly that's pretty good. I sincerely thank the university for this great honour. As a police officer, a commitment to serving the community of New South Wales steers and motivates my every decision, whether that's professionally or personally. So to be recognised with an honorary doctorate for my contribution is humbling and a very proud moment. That this recognition comes from Macquarie University, where I started my own academic journey, makes it all the more special. Again, I thank the university and I look forward to playing an active part in the university's alumni for years to come. It's also an absolute privilege to deliver the occasional address for this graduation ceremony, and what a pleasure it is to be one of the first to say congratulations. Today is an extremely important day for each of you graduating. I can imagine, and I still remember, the pride, the relief and the nervous anticipation that you are feeling. Back when you applied for entry to your respective degrees, this ceremony was probably the furthest thing from your mind. But now, after all those lectures, assignments, late nights, essays, tutorials, exams, coffees, here you are, graduating in front of proud family and friends. It's also the fact that we are assembled here to recognise you and you specifically and celebrate your tremendous achievement. And it's not only the actual degree you hold in your hand that we recognise today, it's also the fact that each of you set out to do something. You applied yourself, you overcame obstacles, you made sacrifices, and you saw it through to the end. That shows true character, commitment and fortitude, which in my mind is just as important as the subjects you have studied and the results you have achieved along the way. And in fact, I'll go a step further to say that the ability and the will to see something through may be the most important lesson to come from your tertiary education. It's a lesson you will draw on again and again in whatever you do, and it will be highly regarded by future employers. Now, some of you will probably know what your next step is, while others may feel anxious about what might lie ahead. And those feelings are natural. But let me assure you of something. This is a future you are now equipped for and ready for. You are among those fortunate enough to have studied at a university and completed a degree. This experience, both what you have learned and how you have sharpened your analytical skills, is an enormous advantage. When you are a university student, it's easy to start thinking that everybody else is studying too. And of course that's not the case. When I was studying for my degree here at this university, I was also working full-time as a police detective in homicide. Now those are two very different worlds. And you realise pretty quickly, though, that a tertiary education is indeed a privilege and allows you choices about how you will contribute to society. It's no coincidence that the graduates today come from politics, policy, history, law, policing, counter-terrorism and social sciences. We have some core interests in common: people, society, culture, good public policy, and the relationship between the individual and government. These interests are compatible with service to the community. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean you all have to now go and work for an NGO or become a police officer, although we'd love to recruit you, but it does mean bringing integrity and regard for the dignity of all people to whatever you do. I'll just tell you briefly a little bit about my career, and I hope it demonstrates why you must keep an open mind to opportunities, embrace change, and commit to whatever it is you are doing. I've been a police officer for 29 years. I was attracted to the job at an early age. I wanted to be the person who turned up when others needed help, who solved the crimes and ran towards the danger when everyone ran away from it. After completing my initial training, I went to Chatswood Police Station and moved through the ranks. My early ambition was to be a police detective in homicide, which I achieved. There was the thrill of investigating the crime, but also the very important job of helping victims and families of victims. I continued to dive into opportunities that arose, and in 2004 I was posted to Redfern as the local area commander. This posting followed the riots that had devastated the relationship between police and the Aboriginal community. A new approach was required, one that balanced the needs of the community and those of police. I walked the streets, I attended community events, I listened to what the local issues were. Little by little, we took steps to heal the relationship and improve the situation for the people and the police in that community. We made a real and genuine difference, and I came to this realisation upon learning that it was the Aboriginal community of Redfern who nominated me for the New South Wales International Woman of the Year for the work in Redfern. In 2006, I became an Assistant Commissioner and led our Professional Standards Command, and later the Commander of Central Metropolitan Region. In that role, I was responsible for all policing in metropolitan Sydney and beyond. It was extremely rewarding work. So I was happily working in the thick of frontline policing when I was presented with something very unexpected: to lead our corporate services. My first thought was no. Finance, human resources, legal services, education and training, technology, this was not my world. This is not where I saw myself. Nevertheless, I took on the role with enthusiasm and commitment, knowing that it is not the challenge that is relevant, it is the opportunity. I quickly realised that the business of running the police offered and led to positive change. And in 2011, I was awarded the Australia Telstra Businesswoman of the Year. That was an amazing honour, but it was made possible because of the opportunity and the intellectual discipline I obtained through my tertiary education. Reflecting, I realise much of my success is not because I walked into a job with all the relevant expertise and experience. What I did have was commitment and determination, just like you, the ability to learn, ask questions and pursue the answers. In my current role as Deputy Commissioner, as you've heard, including forensics, prosecutions, counter-terrorism, special tactics, our police operations group, our snipers, I yet again find myself in a position to embrace many opportunities. So to those of you who are apprehensive about your next step or eagerly anticipating the first move into a professional field, I can tell you that your tenacity will lead you to where you need to be. As a female executive in a traditionally male-dominated profession, I can't leave today without saying something about gender diversity and equality. Of course, I look forward to the day when female leaders are part of all organisations, and it won't be worth mentioning, but we are not there yet. I sincerely hope every woman graduating today is firmly aware of her inherent worth and rightful place in any career or role she pursues. With that in mind, I will also say something to the men graduating today. Most of you are young and have the opportunity to separate yourself from old attitudes, and in doing so, lead real change. You have the education and insight to recognise direct, indirect discrimination, unconscious biases, and I need something from you. I need to see you speaking up when you encounter discrimination or a lack of respect for women. And that's because gender equality is not a woman's issue. It's a human rights issue that we can all influence. We need to champion the new generation of men who respect and support women if we are to achieve a real sophistication in Australian society. And I'm hoping that we will see that in you. Now, to the friends and family in the room, congratulations are in order. The support and patience of loved ones is so important when you are studying. I know you are filled with pride today, and rightly so. It's an enormous achievement and a real milestone. This is also a good opportunity for me to say thank you to my family, several who are here today, for their love and their support, their insight and their wisdom. We must also recognise the fine contribution of the academic staff who influenced, inspired and challenged you in your studies. I hope you continue to stay involved in life in the university and value the friendships you have made. So as you leave here today, I want you to feel assured of the value of your education. We live in dynamic times. Never has there been so much change, information and connectivity to the world. You will have several different careers over your life. Some of you will end up in positions and industries that don't even exist yet. But one thing is resilient to all that change, and that is your education. The capacity to analyse, think and apply yourself will always be relevant. The subject matter might change, but intelligent, capable and curious minds will always be sought. I sincerely wish you all the very best for your future. Congratulations and well done to each and every one of you. Thank you.
Well, graduates and ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure you'll agree that was a truly inspirational occasional address. And as Chancellor of Macquarie University, I feel very proud that Catherine is one of our alumni. What a great role model she is, not just for our female graduates, but I think for all of our graduates. I think we've been very honoured today to have Catherine here giving the occasional address, and I think she deserves another great round of applause. Well, graduates, this ceremony marks the end of one stage in your relationship with Macquarie University, but it is certainly not the end of your association with Macquarie. From today on, for the rest of your lives, you are part of the bigger Macquarie family, which is our alumni, and part of the network of Macquarie alumni, which now spans the globe. We'll keep in touch with you through our alumni program, which is focused on lifelong learning, lifelong support, and lifelong connections. Our commitment to you is to help you keep in touch and engaged with Macquarie throughout your life. And please, graduates, do make sure that you come back to Macquarie, either to undertake more study, to attend alumni events, or perhaps use our aquatic and fitness facilities. Well, graduates, and by the way, just because you've got one PhD doesn't mean you can't come back and get another one. So we look forward to seeing you. Well, graduates, the award of a university degree carries many opportunities and privileges. But like all privileges, it also carries responsibilities. Believe it or not, you, each and every one of you, can change the world. And you don't have to be a Nobel Prize winner to do it either, because almost everything you do, in your homes, in your workplaces, and in your communities matters and can make a huge difference. The consequences of every effort, every action, large or small, can reverberate throughout society, through the decades, indeed the centuries. Even something as simple as a kind word or a kind gesture can often be the spark that ignites a great life or a great career or a great achievement. So as Chancellor of Macquarie University, I charge you to use what you have learned, not only for your own benefit, but also for the betterment of the community. I charge you to use the skills and knowledge you have acquired with rigour and integrity, and to commit yourselves to a program of lifelong learning and inquiry. I charge you to recognise the worth and dignity of all people, particularly those who have not had the opportunities that you have enjoyed. I charge you to set high goals and to continue the hard work that has brought you so far. I charge you, wherever you go, to go with all your heart. And in all you do, I charge you to uphold the good name of Macquarie University. Now, graduates, I hope also that you'll always remember the people who have helped you along the way, many of whom, of course, are here with you today. So to acknowledge their contribution and thank them for it, I'm now going to ask you to do a couple of things. Graduates, would you now please stand? I'd like you now to put your degrees on the seats behind you, and I'd like you to turn around to face your families and friends. And now I invite you to give them a mighty round of applause. The graduates, you might now turn around, but don't sit down because we'll be leaving in just a moment. But here on the dais are also some people who have helped you along the way, and they're the representatives of our academic community, and I'm sure you'd like to thank them as well. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the official party will now leave the graduation hall through the centre aisle, and we will be followed by all of the graduates. I would invite you now to all please stand. And please remain standing until the last of the graduates have processed out. And then I hope you'll all join us in the marquee overlooking the lake for some light refreshments. Well, graduates, I wish you the very best for the future. And in the words of the old Irish blessing, may the road rise up to meet you. May the wind always be at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face and rains fall soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand. Thank you and good luck.